The Franklin County Dog Shelter is trying to control the spread of the potentially deadly parvovirus. 3 puppies tested positive, and this comes just a few months after a distemper outbreak at the same facility last fall. In that case, 84 dogs had to be euthanized. But tonight, shelter officials tell NBC4 this situation is different. NBC4's Ted Hart is live at the Watch 4 Alert Desk with more on this story. Ted?
Well, and this is a different situation, Ellie. Shelter officials believe these were isolated cases of parvo in puppies. It's a fairly common disease, really, but they usually catch it before the dogs are put out on the adoption floor.
Gosh, you're going to be huge.
Shortly after this chocolate lab puppy came into the shelter a couple of days ago, he had diarrhea. That's an obvious red flag.
Anytime a puppy comes in and has diarrhea, we just immediately, parvo is going to be your big rule out, because that is obviously the most critical cause of diarrhea in puppies.
His test for parvo was negative. Last week, though, 3 puppies came in and showed no signs of parvo and got their first vaccines. But a couple days later, before the vaccine had a chance to kick in, they tested positive.
The dogs here don't commingle. The puppies are left in their runs, and so it was isolated, and then they were removed from the facility immediately.
Did the 3 of them come in together?
Nope, they were all separate. They were all on separate warden trucks. They were all in separate runs, which is why we're not concerned for any kind of outbreak.
Puppies are most susceptible to parvo until they've had their entire series of vaccines. It is spread from one dog to another through contact with fecal matter. That's why vets say it's so important to keep puppies out of dog parks and other public spaces until they've had all of their shots. Dylan Starkey adopted this German Shepherd Husky mix today and says shelter staff explained the risks of parvo. Does that concern you?
Yeah, I don't want to lose something I get attached to, obviously, and after all the effort, but it seemed like it's a very good, clean shelter in there, and they said they'd make things right if that situation arose.
And a puppy with parvo is fairly easy to diagnose. Vets have what they call a SNAP test. It takes about 10 minutes. The symptoms are pretty obvious, too. The puppy's lethargic, has diarrhea and vomiting. If you've got a puppy that displays any of those symptoms, get to the vet. In the newsroom, Ted Hart, NBC4.